Hello, Vintage Stereo Buff here. Today I have something a little different. This is a B.I.C.40Z turntable I bought used at a pawn shop in 1990. I'm not sure what they cost new or how much. If it's not a really cheap turntable, but it's not really an expensive one either. I think there were several models above this one from B.I.C. It's a belt drive turntable, and it is actually originally was automatic, but I don't have the little this mechanism holds the record on the edge, and then there's that's kind of a spindle that goes here that I have never had, but I don't like automatics anyway, so I just use it strictly manual. And it's worked well for a long time. I had to get a replacement belt about 10 years ago. And when I bought it, I think I paid like $80 for it. But it did not have a cartridge with it. And so originally I went down and I bought a Grado pickup. It's not a really good one, but it was this was in 1990. It was $69. It was supposed to be a pretty good cartridge. It was good enough for this turntable, and I used it on here until about 5 years ago when I bought a used Shure 0100, which didn't function completely right, but it did have the Gerard came with a Shure V15 Type 3 cartridge on it, which is a fairly expensive cartridge for its day. And in its day, it was actually considered one of the best cartridges out there for consumer use. So I took the Shure cartridge off of the Gerard turntable and I mounted it on here. And it has a lot better sound with this cartridge. But anyway, I've been using it up until about 3 years ago when I bought tube amplifiers. I bought 2 tube amps to use in my systems. The problem is that tube amps like this don't have a phono input section. So they don't have the proper equalization. So I had to buy a couple of small outboard tube preamps to hook my turntable to this tube amp, and I never did get the sound right. It always had a little audible hum in it, and I switched things around, and no matter what I did, I couldn't get rid of the audible hum. And then I hooked it up to some other my solid state equipment, and what I found out was my tube preamp was causing the hum, so I couldn't use it or play records anymore. So right before Christmas, I went out and bought a brand new music hall classic turntable. I paid $600 for it, and I'm very, very happy with it. But I put this back out here in my secondary music room, and I just went ahead and hooked it back up to my old Marantz solid state, because this Marantz solid state amp has a really good phono section built into it, so now I can use this turntable in here. Anyway, it tracks about, I have this cartridge tracking about 1.8 grams. I think it's recommended right at that point, and that's what I track my other turntable at. Anyway, just thought I'd let you see an old piece of equipment. Anyway, Vintage Stereo Buff out.